Welcome back to Artisan of Glimmith. We are continuing to unlock the bonus world, and I have 7 more regions to perfect before I do so. And there's a level 6 puzzle hidden back here. It's a giant star. How would I want to approach the Starfish puzzle? I get the impression that the center is going to be a bunch of L pieces. Oh, no, one of those is going to be a small L. Ooh. And the trick is I actually don't know where the small L is going to be, right? Because you could arrange it in a few different ways. Well, actually, I think it's gonna only be in the 2 ways that I drew out there. So at least, like, I can guarantee that the dead end, when it comes up, does connect to something. Although that's visually weird because it looks like I'm drawing separate shapes, but that's not my intention. I know. We know for a fact that these shapes are gonna be part of an L. Like, the long L of some sort. They're never gonna be an L macaroni because they'll leave behind a 1. And nothing in the middle is gonna be a P piece. It just causes more 1s. So knowing that, I can then use the Gemini to state all of these are gonna be part of some long L going to here. And then that actually is helpful because that makes this a long L. We know that these 2 are together. So what that means is I will force this to combine into long L, this to be a long L, and then this to be an L with macaroni. And then we can do macaroni, 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 which should actually force a macaroni here. And if this is going to be a long L, it is going to connect through here, forcing a macaroni in the corner. And this L with macaroni can come out, not this way though, because we do have a delta, which we invalidated. So that's going to put it over this way. If this is a big L, or I guess a normal size L, is at least going to extend down this far. And I'm pretty sure these 2 have to connect, right? Let's consider the possibility that they don't connect. Either we invalidate a delta, or we come up and then create a 1 piece, which no good. You must connect. Now, again, we can't have the L piece go like this because it invalidates another delta. So it is going to come up like this, which then forces our first P piece. Very nice. And I get the hunch the upper right is going to force a P piece here. I'm just trying to see if there's any other possible combination. And to that, there is not. So, yep, looked at all the possibilities. It's got to be P piece. And then apparently, this is just solvable as is. Which, yeah, I guess makes sense, right? You can have an L piece and a P piece down here. And then, what else? Then I guess you could do a P piece and 2 elbow macaronis down below. First level 6 solved, and we got our first red rose window. And now we go down to this area. There's another level 6 hiding in the corner, and this is a red level 6, which is supposedly harder than other level 6s. And this is just a shape-fitting one. I would probably want to start with this corner. It's going to come out. It's not going to be part of the P piece, but it's going to be part of one of the other 2 shapes. But it could bend either up or down. So then we could have a different shape here, which again won't be P piece, but it could just as easily go in one of those 2 directions. So I'll mark this much. What else can I do? Maybe the bottom? Well, does this have to be a P piece? Yeah, it doesn't actually seem possible to fit in any other of the shapes, so P piece it is. Same with down here. It's narrow, and you don't have room for either of the other shapes. Okay, that's fine and all. What about, like, corner pieces like this? Just the standard corner doesn't imply anything. You can very easily have a U that, you know, doesn't get in the way of anything. You could probably even maybe get away with a zig if you planned it out a little better. Probably this would be the better planning, right? And then, of course, a P piece works in the corner as well. So I feel like I need a better idea. What about the upper left corner? Can't be a U like this, but it could be a U like this until you look 1 step further. The only way you're gonna have a hallway of 3 is either with a P piece, which the level's boundaries get in the way, or a big zag, which has the U piece get in the way. I don't think you're gonna have that U. What about a zag? I mean, that requires actually a 3x3 space, right? So in order for there to be a big zag, this square would need to be available, but it's not. That means the only remaining option is, in fact, P piece, which I feel like could go 1 of 3 ways. So that's not great either. What about this corner here? Can't do a U because it'll leave behind a 1 piece no matter how you slice it. And you can't do the big zag because the one that's on the opposite side of a 3x3, which, by the way, just think about like drawing a 3x3. Think of opposite corners of the 3x3. Those would have to be part of the same big zag. That's not accessible with these borders here. So it's going to be another P piece. And it does look like the 2x2 also has to be here. But again, the little nub could be any one of the ones it touches. Man, I'm not finding anything that's fantastic yet. Maybe this cell could be good somehow? I mean, we could do a P piece here, but then that leaves behind an M, which is invalid. Any other P piece potential? Could be this, which, no, this is not a valid shape. What about here? Yeah, that's valid, because we can keep going with P pieces. Hold on. Probably P pieces for a while. Force is an M, but did I miss anything? Well, maybe not. Maybe it is wrong if you go a few steps ahead. I mean, we take those here. Sometimes you gotta look, 3 or 4 steps ahead. Did I try this one? I mean, it leaves behind a P piece, but then whatever's happening here is gonna leave behind a 1. So I don't know. I don't think it's a P piece. It could easily be a U like this, or no, not like this. No. Not leaving behind 2. And I think it has to be U, right? Because the diagonal from the 3x3 is here, which we're not getting to, here, which we're not getting to, or off the screen. So yeah, I think it is part of a U. Is this the only U? Yeah, this one leaves behind a 1x1. I think it's this one. Okay, nice. That's gotta be huge, right? One of these has to be big. Then this in here is gotta be leaving behind some sort of P piece, which I think is gonna have to be this one, just because we have to make sure there's like a multiple of 5 cells left behind, right? And 10 is a multiple of 5. So we can finally do a zigzag and a U piece. And I guess I should clarify, I don't know which ones either of these are. That looks pretty bad. Oh, that's because I actually missed the possibility of this P piece in referring to this corner. It was still a P piece, but the 2x2 was not forced, which actually is kind of a big deal. This cell has to be part of a, well, something that goes out here. It actually could be a U or a zag again, but these have to be connected. Either way, I guess that does force a boundary here. What about this? I mean, this one surely does not have the big zag potential, nor does it have the U potential. So it is going to be a P piece, which actually does fill this in here, and then we got to fill in the 1. Okay. What do we have here? We have 17 cells remaining, which I think we can actually use to our advantage, right? Or even better yet, actually, this one's much more clear. We have 16 cells. If the line is drawn here, then we don't have a multiple of 5, so we have to break in and create the multiple of 5. Maybe that would have been actually just the move in general. Yeah, try to create choke points that end up in multiples of 5. Either way, that works really well too, right? We got our zag here, and well, okay. Of course, it's gonna have 17, right? Because we just are owed 2 more. I feel like this is a case where you solve the whole puzzle at once. I guess we could look at this cell. We know it's not gonna be a U because we're gonna have a remainder of 1 up here. Similar reason I think this won't be its own P, because either again, you're gonna have a remainder of 1, or you're gonna cut off that P. So not gonna be a P, so you are gonna be a zag, which does mean it's gonna look something like this. Forcing the P here. Forcing a U here, and getting this to be the last 2. Another one down. 5 down, 5 to go, but they're gonna get trickier now. We got 2 red level 6s hanging around here, and we're doing the precision region. All regions must have an area of exactly 3, which is nice because there's either a 3 in a row or an elbow macaroni. There can't be anything else. I feel like so many Geminis next to each other have to help out somehow, right? Or maybe I could use like the border, to be a good start. It has to extend out and they can't be touching, and we can alternate. Well, here's something interesting. If red is the elbow macaroni, it would have to bend like this, which would force yellow to somehow be a elbow macaroni. So that's no good. Red is the long piece. Yellow is the elbow macaroni. Red is the long piece. Okay, awesome. So we have another red, which at least extends down this far. But then we just have alternating colors, which can at least be traced here. Red is the long piece, so we're going to draw another line here. And, well, I'm not sure. I guess if we have an elbow macaroni, got to make sure it doesn't leave behind any singles. And whatever starts here, I think we actually do know it's going to be an elbow macaroni, just because the shape of the board forcing this to come up. But honestly, that doesn't force too much else, unless if we want to say, well, doing it this way means we're going to leave behind an area of 2. So the elbow macaroni must come down, forcing a 3 up, and then force another 3 down here. And I guess same idea, right? If this were to go up, we'd leave behind a region of 1. So we can keep following it, Whoops, there we go. which actually does force another 3 long, elbow macaroni, which we can then split up with delta Gemini, bring those in. This must come out somehow. And now for once, if this elbow macaroni goes up, that's fine, because this going down leaves behind an area of 3. So I think it should work both ways too, right? Even if it comes down, this can go up, and yeah, everything's fine. Right, so maybe let's look at the deltas and Geminis. There's 2 possibilities, right? Either it's long, elbow, or elbow, long. Do either of these cause any issues? The long would have some interesting consequences, including forcing this to go down, this to go up, right? This, what's the issue here? It doesn't actually look like there's any issue. It kind of looks like that's just right. Yeah, sometimes you just get the whole puzzle at once. I guess if I wanted to prove it, I could find like a contradiction by looking at the opposite, right? Long, bendy. Where's the issue here? I'm sure it exists somewhere. Well, these can't merge because that would leave behind 2. So that means it would have to be like this, and then that, and then we'd have a section of 4 left behind. So there's the proof. Okay, lovely puzzle. And another level 6. Actually kind of tiny, but all regions must be exactly size 4. So there are 5 possible shapes, right? You got the long, you got the T-piece, got the S, got the L, and you got the 2x2. So looking in here, I mean, this obviously can't be the long. There's not enough space for it. And it can't be the 2x2 either. So I guess it's going to be one of 3 shapes. Same with whatever's here. One of 3 shapes. But then we have to keep in mind that we're going to have the same shape over here, which has to be possible. And this shape actually can't go up because then it would force to have the same shape above, but then we have a delta between 2 of the same shapes. That's no good. So that means this must come down, but it must be physically different, which would then force this to be a long piece, right? Or a long L, sorry. Now, that being said, I guess I don't really know for sure where any of the long L's would go. All I know is that this is different. This is also different, but I don't know if it's the same different. Which means this is either a T piece, which is perfectly fine, or an S piece, which is also fine. I guess we know this would bend over at least to here, and then branch down to one of 2 spots. Now I guess it gets a little tricky again. Maybe I could look at this piece. We know it can't be a long L. It, I guess, actually could be the same as orange, right? Because with the delta that goes here, there's another delta separated from the orange, so there's no reason this has to be any different. It's just then this would also have to be orange, which, I mean, I guess that's fine. I guess I could start thinking about this space then, because here's what's up, okay? Once the shapes are all drawn and finished, the left side of the board needs to be a multiple of 4. Now, just take this as an example, okay? I know this has to come over twice more, right? To complete a shape. I know this has to do 3 more on this side of the board to complete a shape, and that leaves 17 behind. So between this yellow and this green, there must be exactly 1 going left. The other option would be exactly 5 going left, but that's not possible. We can do at most 3. So I actually don't want to care about the bottom L. I do want to look at the piece that needs 2 more. That does force this to go to the right, which I guess is helpful. Don't have this come down. And then I guess it forces this shape, whatever the hell it is, to come out, which is going to be separate from this because we do have a delta. This is forced to come out. And now one of these 2 shapes is going to the side. We do know the dark green, it can't be an L. Ignore the Gemini. It also is going to invalidate the delta. So that could be drawn. I can then go back to getting rid of the extension of the shapes, just so we don't disturb delta or Gemini anymore. Oh, you know, I guess I could have looked more at the long L's. Imagine if this was the L I drew. This L would be forced to extend here, which is about to invalidate a delta with the new long L. So actually that clears things up quite nicely. You go to the right, you become an S piece. Whatever the green is going to go left. It's actually always going to be a T piece. That's helpful. Unfortunately, I don't have any guarantees for where the other T piece goes. Has a lot of potential. Whatever this is can extend out. Not that far. So we know blue actually is not a T piece or an S piece. So it could be a long L. Or it could be an ultra long piece. Actually, I don't think it can be this, because that would force another long piece, which would leave behind a remainder of 1. So I think the only option is for it to be an L piece, which then actually forces this to become a T piece of all things, which means the T piece will then go left, forcing a T piece out here. Still actually has potential. Could actually be 3 different T pieces, which is kind of crazy. Well, we know this is either going to be an L or a long piece. If it's an L, I guess that means we could... Well, we can't do an L here. That's going to choke out the T piece. Can we do a different L? Well, we could do this, again, which chokes out the long piece. Yeah, see the issue here? Okay, so it's not an L. It's a long boy, which forces this up, which means this is also a T piece. Which, okay, yeah, just want to make them more green. Force the T piece down here because this is going to be different. Whatever it is, which I suppose, just looking at the possibilities, S, long piece, or L piece, and long piece work, which actually, probably checks out with the right side, which, what, we need 2 squares, S and an L piece. It's a beauty, and another one down. Now we're going to polyomino, which hides a level 7. Who's ready for a diabolical puzzle? It must be one of 3 L's. I'm not sure how I'd want to start. Right off the bat, I guess I can see like this L. It's not gonna do one of these 2 shapes because it leaves behind a region of 2. So it will always be here, but then it could go up either way. So I guess it's not too good. I mean, other small improvements. This L can't ever do this because that's gonna invalidate that polyomio, I guess. So what? It's gonna be either this L or this L, which means this, I guess, extends. Yay. Same with the L over here. It can't go up by 3 because then we're not gonna be able to get a shape in there. So it must go over by 1 to either bend down here or bend up here. Yay. None of these are good. Maybe the center is important. Let's look at all the L possibilities. If we have it go over by 3 for, I guess, any reason, right? We're gonna have an issue in here. What, make some sort of T piece coming out? I don't think so. Or leave behind a 1? Hell no. But something like this is perfectly valid. I think likewise, this can't go up by 3? Like to reach here, for example. Because I mean, what are we doing here? Likewise, it's not gonna merge here because that leaves behind a 1. I feel like we're running out of options. And I see this as a possibility. What else? The other possibility I think is this shape, which doesn't have any immediate errors. But I guess we can like imply the same thing about this L, right? Either it's gonna do this, which no good with a 4 in the middle, or it's gonna do something like this, which is a bit more fine. Probably more realistically this. I guess for the record, this is totally wrong, just because this L won't work. So I guess for what it's worth, the red and green in the middle are wrong somehow. So the other option was doing this L, which again, in order to prevent a 2x2, forces this to be the L, which this one's actually a bit more fine because we can actually have a big L here and then smaller L's out here. So I hope I'm not missing any other possibilities, but just having exhaustively searched everything I can do, that appears to be the only configuration, which I should probably start marking like big L's with like blue or something. What about the medium L? Well, we know this can't come in, I guess then, so we will draw a line here, which pretty much forces a big L here. If we were to do a medium L, we're gonna run into like a T-shaped problem that we outlined earlier. So that does pretty much force all these moves, which is an excellent start. Now I can determine this L piece on the bottom is either gonna bend up like this or like this. Draw a line here, and I believe this has to be red, because whichever way this goes, this will have to cover the other small corner. And red just being the elbow macaroni, of course. Which does mean that now we know this piece is not coming in, because that's going to block off the one piece. So there we go. There's your big L. Hold up. I'm missing something here. I am missing something here. And the thing that I'm missing is that this could be a medium L and this could be a medium L as well. Right. The possibility that the medium L just gets both on the bottom. Okay. crisis averted. Maybe I want to focus on this medium L now. We know it can't do this because that's going to force a hallway of 4. We're running out of options though, because once we do this, we could do a 5-piece, and that's going to leave behind an area of 1. So that's also wrong. And I believe the last reasonable option is doing this as the L piece, and then big L here, elbow macaroni here, big L here. Fantastic. We could do a couple unknowns extending from here, which pretty much puts this L piece in a bit of a stranglehold. It's not going to just randomly overextend with one of those, but it does leave the only possibility left of this L, which, okay. Elbow macaroni here, and then this must extend out. Big L must come over by 1, but we do have a couple options still. That would be here. Although, I don't think I like this as an option. Yeah, that's going to force the elbow macaroni here, and then we just have a shape that does not cooperate. It's what, a T-piece? Yeah, no thank you. We're going to the only other possible shape, which is the big L here. Forces a macaroni here, and then medium L here, macaroni here, and then I hope the rest should start falling into place. Elbow macaroni here, for a big L here. Yep, and that lines up well with the 4-piece, and another 4-piece, and then 2 elbow macaronis. Level 7 down. Next up, we got the Mingle shape area, which actually introduces another large puzzle at the end of it all. Large red. We got 1 of 3 L's, which, okay, you must be an elbow macaroni. So you then, you can't be a part of a big L, so it's got to be a small L or a medium L, but it's not going to go this way. The way I see it, it either does this, which is not good, it leaves behind a size 1, or this, which actually is probably the only other option. We can also look at this cell. I don't think it could be the medium L, right? Leaves behind a size 1, or forces another medium L, which is no good. Or if it goes up here, this would have to be the biggest L, but there's just no space for it. I guess that's the main crutch, right? This can't ever be the biggest L. So this instead has to be the biggest L. Then forcing in a medium L here. Forcing this to be a tiny L, which is going to come down here. Then this forced to be a medium L. Good progress, good progress. This forced to be a tiny L. Elbow macaroni, that is. And if it goes down, this would be forced to be a big L, which actually is fine. So hold your horses there. I mean, well, if it goes up, actually, this is the problem. We can't have a big L here. So it, in fact, does have to go down. And let this continue. Force the elbow macaroni here. Medium L here. I guess there's 1 of 2 options. Is there anything wrong with this one? Yeah, because elbow macaroni won't fit in here. And we can't have 2 big L's next to each other. So this is the only one left. Big L here. And then elbow macaroni's here. That's going to come out. And they'd have to merge, otherwise they'd be adjacent to each other. This here, I believe, has to be an elbow macaroni, right? Because otherwise, if it were a medium L, there'd be an island of 1. So macaroni it is. Medium L here, which I believe has to go up, right? Every other option is going to result in like a hallway of 3, which is no good. Or if we do this, we're going to cause a problem where this can't be the biggest L. So up we go. Biggest L goes here. And I guess it could go up or down. Both work, right? Because you leave a elbow macaroni in there. And down here, you also leave space for, well, either elbow macaroni or a bigger L. It's kind of wild how well that works, actually. I guess if we do this, we're going to have some issues. How are you going to fill in this 2x3? Can't really go big L here, because neither of the 2 pieces that could continue from here are allowed. Thank you, Mingle shape. So you know what? This does have to go down. Though I don't know how far up this goes. So I'll do a little elbow macaroni here instead. Medium L, which hug the corners. And then, okay, I can solve the entire rest of the puzzle with 3 simple lines. Not gonna lie, reds have been pretty easy so far, even the level 6s. So I'm hoping this one will ride a big challenge. Oh boy, here we go. Right from the get-go, I don't actually know where I'd want to start. So maybe this central plus, right? I do think the central plus has to look like this, because let's think of any other possibility. It will have to be an end piece then, which means it's going to be adjacent to a different plus, no matter how you slice it. So plus in the center, And then the other pluses won't extend towards it, which, at least for this plus, doesn't leave many possibilities left because of what I've already drawn. In fact, I believe it leaves only this behind. That then, well, let's see. The L, I guess the L's could meet, or it could go like this, and then we do this. Just for example, this has to go down by 1, and that's all I know. I don't think it does anything else here. I don't know if this is helpful at all. Whatever this piece is, it actually can't extend to the L, because then we will have 2 adjacent L's. Okay, that's not a good example of what it would look like. It would look like this, but you get the idea. We would have 2 adjacent L's, so that maybe helps, possibly. Is there a world in which these connect? Yeah, that world seems perfectly fine. Be able to see the issue here. What about the question then with this big piece, right? What are our options with it really? Because the way I see it, a lot of the options choke out this 4 long, such as this one. There's no room for it to grow. Other options like this would force this to go up, which is fine, but we'll keep that in mind, right? All their options force to go up. Is there any way that the 4 is horizontal, or even like this? There's just not enough space for it. Okay, so that's reassuring. The 4 is in fact vertical. It means this must come down, and actually the only shape left is going to be this one here, which means this does go up, and then we have a 2x2 here, which means I think we're out of options here. That's got to be that shape. Then this shape I think is also out of options. You got to do exactly this. This 3 must be horizontal. This 3 can't ever go up, but either other direction seems fine. What about this plus? I think we're out of options. Got to do an actual plus here. A couple 1 pieces. The 2 can't go to the right because then there'd be 2 2s or 2 1s next to each other. The T's, I feel like might merge. They also might not merge. What about this piece? I feel like big pieces are always worth tracking down. Well, there's really not much space left. I see 1 configuration of the shape, and that looks like it's it. Mostly because I don't see anywhere else for the 2x2 to go. The nearest 2x2 spot is here, but then it's like, well, it's not a rectangle, and there's a plus in the way. So I think we roll with that, get this plus going up, and then realize, okay, this is not going to merge with this because we're not going to be able to do up the tiny piece that sticks out, right? You got the long base, and then it has to stick out in the middle. That's not happening. So these must go away from each other, and this one will go down, mark that. This one will go up, and it will have to merge with this one. So now I think these pluses pretty much have to merge, which is going to look like this. And 4 piece can't go up. It's going to be next to another 4 piece, so it's got to go left. Then this 3 must go down. Mark them in. Plus comes in here. 4 long, whoops. There we go. 2 piece, 2x2. And the rest should fall into place. Yeah, we are steamrolling these right now. And the quest will continue next time. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next video. Have a wonderful day and peace.